Every city's got its scum. Sometimes that scum gets its own show. The Penguin! So, I'm a little late on this. I've been busy with a lot, actually. But anyways, I'm going to try and keep up on this because this is good. So, reminder, I enjoyed the Batman despite going in being almost certain I wouldn't. Basically, the thing that won me over was that despite the trailers focusing in on the brutal action, it was exactly what what director Matt Reeves said it would be, but I didn't think they'd ever actually do, which is a proper noir. Not a noir veneer, not a noir influence. The instance I started thinking, oh my gosh, Batman's doing the thing that the hard-boiled detective does. I'm like, oh, this is good. And I really liked it. And I'm here for more of this world. Now, some people might scoff at, it's a Batman series without Batman. Like, yeah, so was Gotham. Gotham was also villain-centric. And Gotham also had a really good Penguin. And this actually takes a couple of cues from it. Not too much. I don't want to oversell that. Gotham was, especially in its later, better seasons, spectacularly over the top and absurd. This is way, 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 way more grounded. But like in a way that actually works, because the first season of Gotham is kind of iffy, partially because it can't decide how out there it wants to get. By the second season, they figured it out and we're just leaning into it. It was way better. This is just leaning into all the other way. This is like, we're going grounded, all out. Like, okay, cool. I appreciate when something can pick a lane because while it's not impossible to juggle the balance of, dark grittiness and absolute absurdity bordering on camp that comes with a lot of superhero stuff, especially somebody like Batman, sometimes you benefit from just going all one or the other. By the time it got to its good seasons, Gotham went all dark camp, and this is going in hard on the realistic, gritty take. And it means it. And it works. Colin Farrell's real good as Penguin. I guess I'm going to call him that. They've changed his last name. His first name's still Oswald, though he goes by Oz. That part's fine. But it's not Cobblepot anymore. It's just Cobb. That seems deeply unnecessary. I still don't like... The official word on that is Cobblepot sounds too ridiculous. Or like something like that. I'm like, oh, come on. Let us at least have that tiny bit of fun. Hell, I would say it would even feed into his character. I bet you a kid with a last name like Cobblepot would have gotten the crap kicked out of him growing up. I believe that would have happened with this guy. But Colin Farrell is real good, borderline unrecognizable. The makeup that they do on him is real good because like it just looks like his face. They do a real good job, and a big part of this is the lighting. They know how to light it, so it looks good. And it's not always dark lighting. Sometimes he's out in the daytime, but it's a good look. And another thing that I mentioned they kind of do borrow a little bit in terms of, I don't want to say that they're taking direct influence from, but they've kind of arrived at some of the same conclusions that Gotham's Penguin came to, which is that he's a planner, he's opportunistic, but he's also impulsive when a nerve gets struck. Like he can plan and he can come up with good stuff, but if something pisses him off, he'll do something stupid. And this opens with that because Carmine Falcone gone in the movie. So now we're dealing with, his son's going to take up the mantle. What's one of the first things that happens? Oswald runs into him while Oz is raiding the safe at the club. This guy shows up who's the new big boss. Oz talks his way out of trouble in the immediate sense. And then the guy starts laughing at him and making fun of him, going like, you're just a loser. And Oswald shoots him. Like, yeah. And then I get to watch him try and scramble his way out of the impulsive, moronic thing he just did. This is great. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm here for it because I think, again, a lot like the Gotham Penguin, this this penguin is really fascinating to just watch maneuver. Because it's not that he's the smartest guy in the room. He's not. Especially given that almost nobody trusts him. They're pretty much all onto him in some way or another. But he just finds that right angle. Just that one little ace up his sleeve, that one right thing to say that in the moment is going to give him enough time to come up with something else. And everybody knows they can't trust him. But can't quite get rid of you yet because of something that he's just managed to pull together. And I love that. I love watching this guy scramble and come out, not on top, but come out still breathing. That alone, well worth it. A lot of fun. I was surprised how happy I was to be back in this setting because it's been a little while. It's been a hot minute since The Batman, but I tell you, this is good. This feels good to be back in this world and this setting, and I like some of the more subtle things that they do as well, like the small touch of this kid Vic that Penguin sees, trying to boost his rims and is about to shoot him, and Vic starts pleading for his life, but he's got a stutter. And you can tell that that's initially what gives Oswald pause. Because, I bet you this kid has it tough. I had it tough. Maybe I don't want to shoot him right off. And then, taking the time and actually getting to know him. I'm really curious to see these two together. I'm like that. I'm here for that. We got Clancy Brown as Sal Maroni. That's great casting. Sophia Falcone. So I was a little torn on this at first because I like Sophia Falcone from the comics, and just physically, this is not her. Like, at all. Sophia Falcone is massive. Like, she is punch you once in the face and take your entire head off. Big, bulky, and can snap a man in half. Like, physically, she should be more along the lines of Brienne of Tarth. Like, she's actually bigger than that in the comics, but that, comic exaggeration, fine, we'll dial it back a little bit. So, when I first saw Sophia, I'm like, that's not her, though, is it? And in the sense of the physicality and that style of intimidation, no, it's not her. But the thing about Sophia is whether she is physically capable of lifting a man over her head and throwing him 50 feet is kind of secondary just to the fact that she is brutal and ruthless and on a dime can decide you're done. This Sophia does have that. So it captured a emotional character truth about the character while also stepping fairly outside of the normal physical depiction of the character. And I'll come along for that. I'll come along for that ride. And of course, you got to have Oswald's mother there. I don't know at what point in canon the Penguin being a mama's boy became a thing. It works though. It's worked in most iterations where I've seen it turn up, and it works here, especially because she's aging. She seems to have some kind of dementia or progressing that way, and that's tough. But also she takes no crap. Oh, she's definitely this guy's mom. And again, the characters and the dynamics between them are interesting to see them play out, especially as you just get a sense. The way people talk to the Penguin, you get a real sense of who they are just by how they think about him. And almost nobody has respect for him. But there is a varying level of how blatant are they going to be about that. And so Oswald's not a hard character to get, but watching how everyone else responds to him tells you a lot about them, and you get to watch him deal with the various levels of disrespect as he takes every stumble, every problem, and tries to weave an opportunity out of it. If not, at the very least, not end up on a hit list. This is a real strong start. There isn't a ton to talk about plot-wise. It really just is. He shoots the new head of the Falcone crime family in an impulsive moment. Let's deal with that now. Like, going plot beat for plot beat isn't really worth doing. I think the characters introduced so far are solid. I like this setting. This is good, proper, hard-boiled crime noir. And I am a sucker for that. When it's done well. It is infrequently is it done well. Often noir is just like a visual flavor that people sprinkle on something that is kind of doing something else, or it becomes a pastiche. But here's like, no. That's the real deal. Yeah. I'm kind of excited for more of this, which feels nice because like there have been shows lately that I've liked decently. Most recent season of House of the Dragon was pretty good, but it didn't make me go, ooh, I can't wait until I can watch more of this. Here, I get to say that. And I don't remember the last show I got to say that about, that I was doing episode by episode reviews. It's been a hot minute. This is great, though. The Penguin. You seen the first episode? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe, maybe. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Goddess Elida, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Oliver B., Melinda Pedersen, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Gene Foray, Movie Turtle, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Melinda Walters, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Frenobulax the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperel, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Adam R. D.L. Taylor, Palba Rabajoggle, Mira G., and Sir Didymus is my favorite. If you're wondering about this little guy, this is Nymph. He's new. Don't worry, the other two are fine. He's just not fully socialized with them yet. You'll see them all together soon. Won't they? Yes, they will.